Hello everyone, your kinda sorta favorite discount Skeletor trucker is back and rockin' better equipment. While I was rummaging in the ruins of an abandoned Radio Shack here in hell for this stuff, I was bothered by some of the hyperbole from the last video. That maybe I was too harsh on Killer of Killers. Sure, it does cause a lot of damage to the lore that the fans are celebrating for whatever reason. And they even added a new post-credit scene that damages the lore even further. I wonder who else will pop up with bomb collars on them. But at least that movie has some interesting characters and some cool fights. It's bad, but to say it is the worst movie in the Predator franchise might be pushing it. I would like to remind you, there is another. And no, I am not talking about that one. I'm talking about one that has been forgotten. So, for the sake of consistency, allow me to recover your repressed memories and review a movie that was so awful that it forced the studio to course correct 2 franchises and kill a 3rd. I can understand wanting to forget an awful movie, but some of the worst sins of this movie are currently being repeated, and it is our duty to learn from the past. This is my review of Alien vs. Predator Requiem. Now, once again, I am not saying you can't like this movie. I am saying that this movie is bad. However, I will say that if you enjoyed it, you are probably a psychopath. This is the follow-up to AVP from 2004, which had a strong criticism for being PG-13. So this movie has a focus on being rated R, with a hard R. Let's get into it. We open right after the events of the previous film. No, still not saying that. The alien hunter spaceship leaving Earth, and wait a second. Is that the same ship? It looks smaller. Remember the ship at the end of the last movie? Look how big it is! Holy shit! You mean to tell me that it's now different because reasons? The first shot of the movie, and we already have some big mistakes. We see the fallen Predator hero from the last movie, called Scar, laying on a slab, and we see the ending moment from AVP again. It's a little different too. Why couldn't they just reuse the footage they already had? Laziness could have actually prevented a continuity error. Anyway, we see the birth of the Predalien. The walking result of what 90s kids would imagine if a facehugger did his unwanted alien space lovin' to a predator. Which, let's be honest, these guys should have checked Scar before loading him up. That's not this movie's fault, but it is the cause of this movie. So I guess this entire thing is this guy's fault. We see the alien hunter clan has some facehuggers in stasis, and one of the hunters is butchering a xenocorpse. Then the Predalien strikes. Okay, we need a new name for this thing, because I refuse to say Predalien any further. After some deliberation with my colleagues, we here at Road on Life Productions have decided by committee boardroom vote on a name, based on YouTube-friendly ways of describing this thing's activities. Henceforth, you shall be known as...
He's the Grapist! The Grapist? That's his name?
The other predators are now alert to the Grapist on the ship. As one spots it, he... Are you kidding me? You shot at it? Are you that stupid? This clan specifically hunts xenomorphs. The space truckers in the first Alien film figured out you can't risk harming it because its acid blood would eat through the hull. The reason they even have acid blood in the first place was to solve a writing problem. They needed a reason to simply not kill or harm it. This is exactly why Ripley threw one of these things out of the airlock. Hell, she did it twice. And you guys can probably breathe as long as you have a mask. Open the goddamn windows. But instead, you shot at it. And missed. Are you a mobile game ad? Why are you so incompetent? I imagine the outcome would have been the same if he actually hit it. Because the ship would have still crashed and facehuggers would still get loose. Or, here's an idea. You could, I don't know, blow up the goddamn ship. You are going to die anyway, and even if you survived this, I bet your supervisor would be pissed at you for not only letting this abomination exist, but not killing it when Scar was still on Earth. But we need the movie to happen. This alien hunter recklessly shooting his plasma caster is unnamed. But maybe this movie is his fault. Anyway, The ship crashes in Colorado, of all places. Maybe they made the ship smaller so it wouldn't cause too much damage on impact. But never mind that nonsense. Meanwhile, a father and son out hunting deer witness the crash and rush towards it. Because this movie has to follow typical horror movie cliches, and we won't have a bad movie without dumb human characters. Inside the ship, our last remaining hunter, presumably the same one who shot like crazy, activates his gauntlet. I thought he was going to finally destroy the ship, but then the movie would be over. So he instead sends a transmission. You know, that's twice you could have prevented this.
Stop blowing holes in my ship!
Meanwhile, a few facehuggers get loose. The dad shoots one and the acid blood removes his arm just before another one face loves him, while his son watches. Then the son gets face-hugged too. This is only the beginning of a trend this movie will have. Maybe they'll have some class and just not show what happens next. Hell, even Alien Earth kills kids in the first episode. Sorta. It's time to introduce the closest attempts of characters this movie has. The transmission reaches an unnamed planet. The sky looks kind of like the same one from Killer of Killers, but just like that movie, we get no title card. Observing the transmission is the supposed elite and experienced alien hunter protagonist that has been dubbed Wolf. He Batmans up and embarks in his hunt, which doubles as a cleanup operation. Why are you going alone? Why not call for some backup? Because he's just so cool, I guess. He's gonna attempt this by himself. Let's see how that works out. Now we get two human characters, the sheriff and Dallas. But first, let's play a little game. Aside from this movie, pick any movie from the Alien franchise. Now pick an actor from that movie, and do it without Google. Simply saying Sigourney Weaver is cheating. How about Ian Holm, John Hurt, Bill Paxton, Lance Henriksen, Michael Biehn, Charles Dance, Ron Perlman, Winona Ryder. Even AVP had Lance Henriksen again. Now let's do Predator. Can't be Arnold. That's too easy. How about Carl Weathers, Jesse Ventura, Gary Busey, Bill Paxton again. Now let's look at the movies released after this movie. Danny Trejo, Topher Grace, Michael Fassbender, Idris Elba, Guy Pearce, Michael Fassbender again, Danny McBride, Juicy Smollett, Olivia Munn, Gary Busey's son, Alfie Allen, Amber Midthunder, Ian Holm's Ghost, and Michael Biehn again. There are loads more, but those are just a few examples. Now, using only memory, name one, just one, actor from this movie that you remember. You can't do it, can you? Want to know why? 'Cause these characters are shit. You will learn any actor's name from a performance that stands out, if it's great or even terrible.
Oh, hi, Mark.
These characters are bland-flavored milk toast at best, and at worst, don't even belong. Anyway, Sheriff Eddie offers a ride to Dallas. How dare you name him that? Dallas asks the sheriff if he's seen his brother, and he says he's been seeing him too much. Cut to a pizza parlor where we see Dallas's brother, his rebellious, hormone-crazed, problem teen brother, who has been given the task of delivering a pizza to a house where his crush and bully are having a party. Let's play another game. What were the occupations of the human characters from both of these franchises? Alien first. Space truckers, space marines, space convicts, space pirates, space scientists, even though they were stupid, space colonists, even though they were more stupid, and space runaways, the absolute dumbest. Now, Predator, Army Special Forces, LAPD, miscellaneous war criminal misfits, military mental patients, Native Americans, Vikings, samurai, and naval aviators. Even AVP, the movie this is a direct sequel to, had various archaeologists and even private paramilitary guys. High school, part-time pizza delivery teens isn't anywhere near that list. Hell, even Alien Earth has the eccentric trillionaires and robots. They are shit characters, but the concept at least looks better on paper. Well, maybe he will earn a spot. Maybe he'll have a character arc of heroism and really pull through at a defining moment. I guess we will see. Cut to a cop looking in a water tunnel arresting a homeless man, while his dog shows up carrying the severed arm from the father from before. Cut to the pizza guy creeping on his crush before delivering the pizza. Then, this movie gives us dialogue that makes my brain bleed.
I'm good, thanks.
Cute outfit, Rick.
Yeah, as in Halloween in October.
This line pisses me off so much I actually lose sleep over it. I know it shouldn't, but it does. First of all, this movie takes place right after the events of the previous movie. Those events took place when exactly? Well, we have an exact date to go off of.
What's today's date?
October 10th.
10/10/2004.
October 10th. The seasons might be different, but October in Antarctica is October in Colorado. The events of AVP could not have lasted longer than a few days, unless the alien hunter morons were in orbit of Earth for a few months, uncloaked, and don't even get me started on how dumb that possibility is. Well, even if it wasn't actually October, what kind of an insult is that? Who the hell talks like this? And the comeback is just as awful.
At least now I know who ordered the sausage lovers.
You must be gay because you like sausage. No. The dialogue throughout this entire movie is pure garbage. If I criticized every single stupid line spoken, this video would be 10 hours long. It's like it was from the first draft that was never revised, and not the editor, director, or even the actors made any attempts to change it. This teen subplot is more fitting for an episode of Cobra Kai, and the dialogue would not even be found on the cutting room floor of 2.5 Men. And yet, it's also a bit familiar, isn't it?
Why don't you have kids?
Well, we tried to have kids, but I have a low sperm count. Sperms. Funny word.
This shit does not belong here. Why is it here? Did the writer assume this was going to be PG-13 like the last one? You are desperately trying to appeal to a fan base that can't even buy their own tickets. This movie is rated R, with a hard R, and we are going to see why very soon. Where was I? Oh, right. The alpha dickhead throws Pizza Face's keys into a storm drain. Sheriff Eddie finds the father's truck, and we cut to them waking up. The kid witnesses the horrific chest bursting of his dad, and we witness it happen to the kid. So much for leaving the horror to the imagination. I was already hating this movie, but if I had bought tickets to see it, this would be the moment I would walk out. Nah, I paid my money. I'm not leaving. We get another new character, Army Mom. She's home from deployment and gives her daughter some NVGs. No way in hell would the military just let her take those home with her. Pizza Face breaks into his own house to see his brother Dallas waiting for him. Okay, I am not calling you Dallas. Dallas in Alien was captain of the Nostromo, a team of experienced space truckers. You probably couldn't get a job as a normal trucker with a criminal record, though you might have the credentials for being an undead trucker. I'm going to call you Mark. If anyone saw your performance in The People vs. O.J. Simpson, you know exactly why. Pizza Face wants revenge, but Mark talks him out of it and offers to help him find his keys. Cut to the sewers where a facehugger facehugs a homeless man, and the grapist gets real close to his girlfriend before we cut away.
You kids look like you could use a delicious fruity beverage!
Meanwhile, Wolf arrives at the crash site. He inspects the empty vats where the facehuggers were and gathers even more gear. Plasma casters, shurikens, a magic dissolving fluid.
9 packs of chewing gum, 1 issue of prophylactics, 3 lipsticks, 3 pair of nylon stockings.
Shoot, a fella could have a pretty good weekend in Vegas with all that stuff.
Why didn't you just bring all of the gear that you needed? Did you spend all of your money on just masks? And then, and I am not kidding, he uses the gauntlet from the reckless hunter to destroy the ship. But instead of exploding, it implodes. So, again, why didn't that idiot just do that himself? Well, because the movie would be over. In the precious seconds before death, instead of solving it yourself, you gave this guy a huge mess. and sent him a message to come and clean it up. If I was Wolf, I would be pissed.
Well, now, what happened is one of our base commanders, he had a sort of, well, he went a little funny in the head. You know, just a little funny. And he went and did a silly thing. Well, I'll tell you what he did. Well, let me finish, Dimitri.
Army Mom's kid is playing with her NVGs. We get a scene of the kid being uncomfortable around her mom, and the Pizza Brothers break into the sewer. Pizza Face sees a baby alien and drops his flashlight. Whoa! Slow down there, movie. You're going to run out of horror movie cliches before the second act. Through the power of lazy writing, Pizza Face finds his keys and marks his generic movie pro tagline number 426.
Let's go.
Every sewer scene is crazy dark. Even when you adjust the brightness on whatever device you're watching it on, it's difficult to make out any details. That problem will not be exclusive to the sewers. Eddie leads a search party for the very dead father and son, while Wolf hides from them. We get a scene of the very worried wife and mother who just wants some answers. Then Wolf destroys the body of the father and son. We even see their bodies dissolve. So now they will definitely never find them. Even though Wolf is destroying evidence and knows damn well humans are nearby, he insists on doing so without using his cloaking device. This gets him caught, so he kills a deputy to stay hidden. The next morning, the deputy's wife asks Eddie why he hasn't come home. So Eddie goes into the woods to find the deputy skinned and hanging upside down. Oh, so Wolf will clean up any traces of a xenomorph outbreak, but while doing so, he'll still butcher any human he kills? Why not dissolve his body too? This is a small country town. Wolf is a supposed elite expert predator. There isn't a single human in this town worth his time. Any kills of necessity would be sanitized in the same way. But no, we need an iconic callback and a reason to alarm the townspeople. Of course, the aliens killing people affects the human characters first, but as far as they know, people were just missing. The guy who is supposed to be keeping a low profile and cleaning up this mess is also the first to draw real attention. Is Wolf really a badass or just a bad dog? We get an autopsy scene and the doctor tells Eddie that he is in way over his head.
What are you gonna do? I'll let you know when I figure it out.
You what? Okay, you have a missing father and son, then find your own deputy skinned and hanging upside down. Your very next call should be to the FBI field office. Hell, maybe even MauLer and Scully.
Agent who?
As far as you know, you have a serial killer in the woods or a freak show out to kill your other deputies in creative ways. Trying to figure this out by yourself is the dumbest thing you can do, and that is just based on what you know. Next, we get a painfully bad scene of the high school drama plot. The short version is she dumped her jock boyfriend and wants to have a date with this hormonal, socially awkward, unstable mess of a young boy. In this movie about two extraterrestrial beings fighting in this small town, that's by far the most unrealistic thing in this movie. I do not remember her name, nor do I care to learn it, or even give her one. She's Pizza Face's crush, because that is all she ever is in this movie. Immature characters in this franchise are very annoying, but also kind of familiar, isn't it?
Go away, I'm busy!
What are you talking about? We're never busy. Okay, I don't care. Let me in. I know something's...
It's been over 30 minutes into the movie, and Wolf has finally found some grown Xenos to kill. We've seen 3 humans get face-hugged so far, so we're looking for at least 3 aliens plus the grape face. After dissolving the bodies of the homeless couple, Wolf sets a trap. He kills 2 with his plasma caster and tries to kill 2 more before Grape Strudel knocks him away. Concrete separate them and they have a short stare down. Then Grape Custard and the 2 remaining Xenos escape the sewers and Wolf pursues them. Wait, there were 4? How are there 4? We've seen 3 face huggings. That will be explained later, but what isn't explained is how it's so dark already. This sequence is minutes long and the sun was still out when Wolf entered the sewers. The Dark Knight Rises did the same thing, but this was way too noticeable. Why didn't you just shoot Grape Drink during the stare down? You have 2 plasma casters. You could easily spam him in that enclosed area, giving the Grape Freak Show no way to evade. But then the movie would be over. Instead of gunning him down, you just pose and let him escape? I thought you were supposed to be the best or something. Maybe now you should call for backup. Then there's the hyper-dramatic punch that leads to a somewhat busy street. Aliens, an elite predator, and a white grape peach hybrid all run on this street at the same time. Who else could be driving around here? Combined with the hanging corpse you left, I believe you want to be caught. Bad dog! Then we cut to the dead deputy's pregnant wife closing up the diner. As she's leaving, she hears a noise and checks on her boss, co-worker, cook. Anyway, that doesn't matter. His spine and skull are ripped out by grape juice. Another Xeno corners her so grapefruit can give her a face-to-face.
I'm gonna die in the radiator and grape me!
The best acting we get is from innocent people getting brutally killed. We definitely got that hard R rating now, but to get it, they overcorrected so hard they drove it off a bridge. And we're not even at the worst of it yet. Cut to Army Mom's house, and the kid starts playing with her gear that her mom has no business having.
Well, that kid is a horrible actor.
Cut to a bar where Eddie meets Mark. Eddie says,
I think this kind of thing doesn't happen here.
So, call somebody. It might be too late to call the government later. Wolf tracks an alien to a power plant and tries to spam plasma at a distance. He should know better based on how fast they are. We get another brutal death of an innocent person, and we cut to the high school drama plot that has no place in this story. It's poorly written and brings the pacing to a crawl. As they kiss next to the pool, our bullies show up and they all jump in the pool for a fight. Cut to the power plant where a Xeno, not the Grapist, a regular garden variety xenomorph, gets the drop on Wolf. He falls and gets injured. Then he spams with both plasma casters, not hitting it as it's walking at a slow pace. Doing so cuts the power to the whole town. Wolf is becoming way too incompetent to be doing this alone. Cut back to the school, now with cut power, and another regular xenomorph dives into the water and kills one of the bullies. Instead of leaving the way they came, they run deeper into the school, to a door that's not just locked, but chained shut. Maybe I'll get my wish and the team drama plot just dies here. The juvenile delinquents escape through an open window, but another bully gets pulled back in and dies. Cut back to the kid playing with the NVGs, and she spots a third Xeno. And wait a minute, that makes 3. We only saw 2 escape the sewers with the grape gummy bear. We have 1 at the power plant, 1 at the school, 1 following grape soda, and now another one at Army Mom's house. Shit, that's 4! So other people are either getting face-hugged off-screen or something else is going on. Off-screen deaths of innocent people is not this movie's thing. So I bet it's the latter. Anyway, the kid gets scared and calls for her dad. Apparently, they went to bed fully clothed the same night she returned home from deployment. Wow, I've had some bad marriages before, but holy shit. He tries to calm her down by checking the window and gets killed in front of his wife and daughter. Then G.I. Jane grabs the kid and they get away by running from the house on foot. Remember, this is an isolated country town without power. Cut back to the school and the regular xenomorph chows down on the bullies. Wolf interrupts his meal by shoving his spear through its phallic-shaped head. Rude. Then he uses the magic dissolving solution to melt away the xenomorph and the corpses in the pool. How did you get here so fast? Is the school next to the power plant? Did you at least kill the one at the power plant? Is this the same one from the power plant? Wait a minute. What about grapefruit pie? Maybe finding that abomination as fast as you can should be your priority. You are wasting time tracking these things down one at a time. Saving Grape Jolly Rancher for a third act climax is probably the bad idea. Cut to the power plant where Eddie, Mark, Pizza Face, and the dumbass kids all meet up. Pizza Face tells Mark about what happened at the school. Cut back to the school where Eddie brings Mark. It's unexplained why Eddie is keeping him around. Maybe a scene of Eddie making him a deputy or something could have made the writing a little tighter. Mark tells Eddie to call in help, but back at the police cruiser, Eddie can't get a hold of anyone. Maybe you should have made that call when you discovered your own deputy hanging upside down. Cut to the diner, and the woman who was expecting the waitress earlier that night is looking for her. I think she is the same woman as before. You know, the one who was worried about her missing but definitely dead husband and son. She finds her body with her belly ripped open, then runs away screaming. Grapefacer went for her face, but her belly is ripped open. Meanwhile, Wolf is hanging out in a tree and tends to his wound from the power plant. Wouldn't that mean there's a trail of blood between the power plant and the school? We have one for this scene, but nothing when Eddie was looking around. How is he still moving around so fast with that injury? Maybe now is a good time to call for backup. Have a few of your friends focus on the regular freaks you can trap down the Grape Smasher. Instead, he poses on the tree branch while staring in the general direction of a scream. Another Batman moment, like Ronin from Killer of Killers. The frantic woman from the diner finds Eddie's car in the street and tells him the waitress is dead. Mark then insists that they can't wait for the National Guard and they need guns. So they break into what looks like a pawn shop or sporting goods store. It's hard to tell because it's too damn dark. Even Eddie says he needs some light to do something with a piece of gear that we can't see.
Yeah, I just need some light.
Like a fucking
Dude.
Diglett.
It's so fucking dark.
I put the video on YouTube last night. There was no problem with it. So
I honestly think you could upload this whole movie and you wouldn't have a problem. I don't think the YouTube bots would be able to figure out what we were seeing. The sound might be a problem, but if you uploaded the entire thing without sound, I almost guarantee you that big chunks of it wouldn't even get noticed.
I also really like the look of Wolf, so it's just like, stop wasting it by making everything so dark. I can't even see his fucking helmet.
Then the National Guard arrives. This was actually set up earlier at the plant. But who was Eddie trying to call from the cruiser? Oh, it was a radio. Wait, what was wrong with the radio you already had? Eddie uses it to contact the National Guard, and they get wiped out pretty fast. You know, the acid blood of the alien is why they couldn't risk harming it in the first film, but harming them in the second film is less of an issue because they are not in a spaceship. Gunfire can be very effective at killing them. So these soldiers should not be this ineffective. This guy just waits to be killed. That's also familiar. Let's not even discuss how careless the formation is for these soldiers. Instead, let's focus on how many aliens there are. We see them kill at least 2, but for every Xeno that dies, 2 more take its place. What could be going on here? I am sure there is an answer that will push the boundaries of brutality on innocent people. We get a scene of a couple of potheads that were just there. We see some Xenos climbing the store's rooftop through Wolf's predator vision, and Army Mom shows up. Wow, that's lucky. She ran all this way from her home through the rain in total darkness, pulling her child to meet up with our cardboard excuses for characters. Now, with all of the humans we've been following and even Wolf all in one place, and the National Guard dead, there's no need to cut to anyone else, right? Right? Cut to a local hospital. We see a victim on a gurney being taken into trauma, and wait a minute. How the hell does anyone in this situation survive an encounter with these freakish things? Whatever. Just when you think the movie can't be heartless enough, cut to the maternity ward. If you really think this movie isn't going where it could be going, you have not been paying attention. If you did, you probably already left the theater or turned the movie off.
Open wide, kids!
A pregnant woman has her water break and in labor. Grape Gatorade kills a nurse and gets face to face with a pregnant woman. But this time, we do not cut away. It turns out those mandibles are not just for show. Grape Jam's face acts like a face hugger and Grape faces her. And we can clearly see lumps going down the pregnant woman's throat. This is the moment where I wanted my money back. It's just way over the top brutality for the sake of shock value. It's cheap, heartless, disgusting, and the coffin nail to this movie. So, since this movie insists on being as merciless as possible to the audience, I too will show no mercy. Cut to the store as the team decide to leave in 5 minutes. But Wolf shows up and grabs Mark just to hang him upside down. Why bother if you are not going to kill him? Bad dog! Oh, is he bait? Since when do you need bait? If you want to use a human as bait, you are better off using an innocent woman. They'll lead you right to your primary target. Flakes up seconds after being knocked out by the alleged most elite predator. That's not just plot armor or a miracle, that's just straight up bullshit. These humans are the least of your concern. They do not even know you are there. Hell, you shouldn't be wasting your time on anyone here at all. You have a much bigger fish to fry. Wolf kills the two nameless stoners and the alpha dickhead gets mounted by a Xeno. Wolf kills the alien and the acid blood kills the bully. I didn't care to learn his name either. I want to say Donnie? It doesn't matter now anyway, because he's dead and did not belong. Our remaining survivors escape and we get another one-sided fight scene we can barely see where Wolf blasts the remaining two Xenos in the store. This scene is stupid dark too, just like the sewer scenes where I miscounted the number of facehugger victims earlier in the video. And if you didn't spot my mistake, that just proves you either missed it or forgot it too. The only thing of consequence that happens in this fight is one of Wolf's two plasma casters get damaged. Remember when the city hunter slaughtered 6 voodoo posse members armed to the teeth? He didn't fuck around and hang anyone until after everyone who was a threat was dead. That scene was very cool because it was a demonstration of new weaponry and only the talons were used twice. And it all happened in just over a minute of screen time. This scene drags on for longer only for him to shoot, stare, and pose. Wolf is a poser, and I don't care if that hurts your feelings. Cut back to the hospital where, okay, I will not show any of this, but I will say this is the reveal for why there are so many aliens running around. With Grapefacer being a near infinite source of xenoseeds, he's able to multiply the population of xenomorphs so long as he has access to female humans. Innocent women actually function as eggs. The scene itself is just too goddamn much. Maybe this outbreak would not have gotten so out of control if Wolf had focused on the Grapefacer instead of wasting his time on his spawn. If you have a bathtub overflowing with water spilling onto the floor, you are going to have to mop it up regardless. But you will reduce water damage if you turn off the fucking faucet first! Wolf hunting the Xenoregulars has been a huge waste of time, and possibly resulting in his failure. Let's not even discuss the incubation time being set to instant. This used to take days, and additional time for them to grow. To be fair, this movie isn't the only offender. Whatever, I don't want to think about it anymore. This movie punishes the viewer for thinking. Turning your brain off is a method for enjoying bad movies, but it is the only way to survive this one. This movie is rated R, with a hard R. For retard, the action figures from the bargain bin find the abandoned National Guard convoy. They restock with better weapons and Eddie gets on the radio. He asks what the evacuation plan is and they are told to go to the center of town. Then the colonel looks at a body cam footage and sees an alien face. Cut to a rooftop where Wolf removes the broken plasma caster, removes the working plasma caster, and combines them to make a pistol he has to hold and requires a 5-second charge to fire. This is a huge downgrade he did not need to do, and since we clearly saw one work just fine to kill 2 aliens without delay or having to use his hands, I am tired of hearing this myth of him being extra competent. It is a lie. The Jungle Hunter only required 2 weapons, and the City Hunter used his alternatives in more strategic ways against human enemies. You may have a mask similar to the City Hunter, but you are nothing like him. Damn, that also sounds familiar. Then comes another mess of a scene. At least it's well lit enough. There's a discussion about if the Colonel was lying, and we get the funniest line from the entire movie.
That's crazy. The government doesn't lie to people.
Look at Mark's face. Even he's dumbfounded at that. But Army Mom isn't just in the military. She's an officer. She knows they would focus on containment. But the sheriff is determined to follow the instructions, even though he damn well knows that's the center of town and they will be surrounded. What I want to know is, why not just drive out? The tank got in without any trouble. What about all the people that were already on their way out of town? Were they eaten up already? But no, they insist on getting to a helicopter. There is potential here for a character moment. Perhaps the sheriff could be convinced to disobey, that it's his opportunity to have agency instead of seeking help from others, even though he waited too long to call anyone. Maybe Mark could show him value in disobey, because he's an ex-con who did commit something, I don't know, some kind of crime. How it's okay to disobey if you know the rules will get you killed. Instead, we get the last bad horror movie trope on the list. If you had needlessly splitting up on your bingo card, you may scratch that one off now. And it wouldn't be a bad movie without more dumb dialogue to complement our dumb characters.
I hope we're both wrong.
If you are both wrong, you are both dead. Fun fact, Sheriffs are usually elected officials. So the sheriff takes Team Certain Death to the center of town in a pickup truck. Mark takes Team Cardboard to the hospital. You know, where White Grape Peach has engaged the infinite xenomorph glitch. And Pizza Face's Pizza Boss has joined the party. Remember him? No? Who cares? I don't know about any of you, but just thinking about investing any feelings into these characters is a chore, and yet somehow familiar. The main objectives are to find the helicopter and protect Army Mom, since she is the only one who can fly the chopper. Oh no, I feel a forced callback is coming. Wolf arrives at the hospital. How did he know to come here? Whatever. Look how he's holding his new, less efficient weapon. I think this is supposed to be a reference to the flintlock pistol. But at this point, the less we talk about that, the better. Pizza Boss dies almost immediately. Wolf encounters grape Skittles and a few Xenos.
Cause I'm gonna grape you in the mouth!
Grape Sour Patch Kid gets scared and runs away like a bitch after getting slashed by Wolf's talons. What about the Grape Jelly Jam Acid Blood? It doesn't damage talons anymore? Maybe Wolf gets his gear from Nokia. Pizza Face's crush panics and just runs away blindly through a xenomorph-infested hospital. Pizza Face tells her to stop, but she keeps running. Wolf loses his plasma gun and throws 2 shurikens down a hallway, killing 2 Xenos and nails the crush against a wall as she flails like a rag doll. Women. They just do not listen, do they? From this moment on, we don't get any more innocent women being killed by aliens in brutal ways, simply because the movie ran out of innocent women to butcher. But that doesn't mean innocent deaths are finished, though. This makes Pizza Face snap and unload his M4 on Wolf, who just stands there taking fire while getting tackled by an alien down an elevator shaft. Pizza Face continues to fire his rifle until he is out of ammo. Well, considering how the human characters drop like flies, we only had one plot armor moment with them so far. It actually feels like high stakes and low odds of survival, and the only moment of straight up bullshit we had can be hand-waved away if you're feeling generous. These characters might be boring and lame, but we can be sure that they can be killed at any time. Holy shit! Well, I guess he's going to join his girlfriend now.
We have to go.
What the fuck? You can just walk that off? Bullshit! You took an alien spear tail from the alien predator hybrid face-scraping jawbreaker, took it straight through the back and out your front. Even if it missed your heart, you are looking at a punctured lung, broken ribs, and severed arteries. Attempting to walk will only hasten your inevitable death. That flak jacket isn't protecting shit. Even Jesus took 3 days to recover from that shit. And you can just walk that off? Fuck you, movie. Oh, I know. Maybe he didn't die because he's an asshole and not an innocent woman or child. I hate this movie. No human should be able to survive being stabbed in the torso with one of these things. And yet, that's also very familiar. Cut to the center of town where Team Certain Death shoots at aliens we can't see. Dumbass elected official. Cut back to the hospital and the helicopter is in sight, but several aliens crawl out from all directions. And we get another bullshit moment where Mark figures out how to use the plasma gun the same way I figured out how to use Scorpion's spear 30 years ago. Cut back to the Colonel, where we see a projection of an estimated blast radius. Remember this line?
That's crazy. The government doesn't lie to people.
Eddie asks where the airlift is, and the Colonel says they are 10 miles out. Technically, he didn't lie. Then this moment happens.
Get out of here. No, I'm gonna buy some time. I'm not leaving you. Get to the chopper.
Shut the fuck up, Mark Furman, you cardboard cookie cutter cunt of a character. I don't want to hear your dumbass voice again. But first, I want to ask you something. What the hell made you think you deserve to make that callback?
I assert my Fifth Amendment privilege.
Good. You do that, Mark. Maybe we'll get lucky and you'll actually sacrifice yourself.
Fuck you!
How are you not dying from the acid blood that's raining on top of you? Oh, good. There's another one. Get him! You're saved by Wolf? Are you kidding me? God damn it, Wolf. You know what? This movie is also your fault. Bad dog. You suck at your job. This human is using your weapon. And I hate him. Just kill the bastard. But no, Mark gets away so Wolf can do a whip dance to kill an alien. Get over here! Then Tropicana frozen concentrated grape juice teleports into the scene, and we get a clumsy, poorly lit fight on the raining rooftop with the ticking clock of inbound nukes. An alien attacks a helicopter and Army Mom shoots at it through the windshield. Fun fact, that spot of the helicopter has many electrical components, and acid blood just spilled all over it. But, whatever. Mark gets to the helicopter. Look, I'm not doing it too, okay? And our remaining survivors fly off. The rooftop fight continues, and Wolf's gauntlet gets damaged. Too bad you couldn't have taken a spare gauntlet with you in either one of your gear-up moments. So he tosses his whip, takes off his mask, and a clumsy rubber suit rooftop fight concludes.
You're so ugly you could be a modern art masterpiece.
But the fight doesn't matter. The nukes get dropped, turning night into day, Wolf into a hot dog, and the grapist into a raisin. Side note, the end of every episode of Alien Earth has jarring, out-of-place music for the credits. The songs themselves are good, but fit as well as ribeye steak in a vegan buffet. Reminds me of early YouTube fan-made music videos. So, please enjoy this short memorial for the character who has too much hype and more bark than his bite. Rest in piss, Wolf. Maybe this could have been avoided if you had help, or focused on the grapist instead of wasting time on his grapevine spawn, or even nuked the town yourself. Your involvement only made shit worse. The military had to do your job for you. That's embarrassing. At least you didn't fail quite as hard as King Shit. No, never mind. This is worse. The helicopter crashes and they all survived that? Bullshit! You can't even survive this in Call of Duty. Now some soldiers show up and Mark challenges them on nuking the town. And the response is laughable.
You bastards killed the entire town.
I'm just following orders.
Holy shit. Wow.
They're just following orders.
I've been at the mercy of men just following orders. Never again.
The response is even more stupid.
We need a medic for my brother.
Yeah, okie dokie. Mark, why are you talking? You're really just going to let that excuse just slide? I know this guy personally isn't responsible, but still, go back to not talking. The music rises and we get another rip-off line from Aliens.
Mommy? Are the monsters gone? They're gone.
Wait! The government doesn't know the nature of this contagion even is. The likelihood of any kind of happy ending for these people simply does not exist. They would be detained, heavily screened, questioned, and possibly disposed of, CIA style. Maybe they'll spend the rest of their days as test subjects in Area 51.
As you can imagine, they don't let us out much.
And even after all of that, there is absolutely no way they are letting them go. The U.S. government just nuked an American small town. Not even Johnny Cochran can spin that shit. There would be a huge cover story, maybe even a false flag story as an excuse to start another war. I mean, it did take place in 2004. They would never allow these people to speak the truth about any of it. Meanwhile, Colonel Stevens brings the plasma gun to Lady Yutani. You know, because we had Wayland in the last movie, we gotta have Yutani in this one. because in the future it's Wayland Yutani. Whatever. She looks familiar too. And that is AVP2. None of this needed to happen. The argument in favor of movies like Alien vs. Predator, Freddy vs. Jason, or Godzilla vs. Kong is usually something like, the human characters don't matter. We just want to see the classic movie monsters fight. Honestly, I understand this perspective. When I first got a DVD player, I wasn't watching Showgirls for the plot. I still don't know how it ends. The problem with that argument concerning this movie is the fight scenes being too dark, out of focus, and edited too choppy. The Grapist and Wolf just teleport all over the place through the power of bad editing. This abomination is able to move around a small town undetected, regardless of his massive size. Wolf at least had a cloaking device. The fights themselves lack logic, but you can only tell by maxing out your brightness to the point of risking blindness the second it cuts to a daylight scene. It makes the action hard to follow and eventually hard to care about. The best special effects, whether it's practical or CGI, don't matter if the audience can't even see what's happening. AVP had complaints about overexposure for the xenomorph, so AVP2 made everything extra dark. So now, in Alien Earth, another huge overcorrection with it in broad daylight. But you know what is perfectly lit? In crystal clear focus, front and center, tons upon tons of gratuitous brutality against innocent people. Not just the men, but the women and children too. The movie goes out of its way to show horrific scenes of violence against people just living their day-to-day lives. In Aliens, lots of innocent people die too, but it is off-screen. What is important about them is the look of horror on Ripley's face, her reaction to hearing about it. She knows what it means and is completely stunned. The less is more philosophy in horror was used in great effect in the first two Alien films. In this one, we get hardly any reaction from our main characters for most of it. Most reactions to these atrocities are from the audience, but it's not horror for what's happening. It's disgust at the zeal of the filmmakers. It's so common and deliberate, I can't help but believe the directors had a revenge fantasy against their hometown. I haven't seen this much unbridled hatred against the traditional American family since the Barbie movie. Body horror has always been part of the equation with Alien, but there are lines you just do not cross. We see lots of horrific deaths we don't want to see, can't make out the action we came to see, and nothing spoken by anyone is worth hearing. There is absolutely nothing of value to see or hear. An assault on the senses by the senseless.
It raped you all for decades and decades.
See, I think this is too much.
Okay, let's talk about the plot. They show that it clearly takes place after the previous movie, then forgets about it entirely. The characters respond to what happens instead of taking action that could have helped them out tremendously. And not just Wolf. The sheriff did not call for help when his deputy is found, and he had every reason to. I can't believe he didn't issue a curfew either. I guess it's a good thing the characters wasted time instead of leaving town, because they could have gotten eaten up too. The plot itself has all of the symptoms of an idiot plot. The only way the plot can progress is for characters to either act out of character or do illogical things. The human characters react to the alien characters, and if they have nothing to react to, the plot will oblige with an idiot action. It is a plot-driven story where the plot is progressed by stupid choices. Now let's talk about the characters. This shouldn't take long. Mark, the closest thing to a protagonist, is just there. His characterization is even weaker than everybody else's. All we know about him is he was recently released from prison, but we don't see anything about that. Not even a creative shiv. He hangs around with Eddie without explanation. He's either just looking for something to do, or they forgot to write him a scene of him becoming a deputy.
Quark, I hate to do this, but I guess I'll have to.
That's not fair.
I haven't done anything yet.
Whatever you're gonna do, it's not fair.
You're a deputy.
It's not. What?
Is the sheriff his parole officer? We don't even know what he was in prison for, or what his motivation is. He's obligated to protect his brother, sure, but the plot does that for him. Maybe he wants a job as a deputy? I don't know. Do you? Well, I don't care either. Pizza Face is just horny and angry. A lazy attempt to relate to a PG-13 audience that didn't show up. And Eddie? Eddie has agency issues. He drags his feet on asking for help until shit has gotten way out of hand. I wouldn't call him naive. I mean, if these things showed up in your town and you don't know what they are, how they spread, or anything, you wouldn't know what to do either. And that is his first flaw, his indecision. You could argue that he's shocked or overwhelmed, but that's the moment he should have called for help. Maybe he didn't want to look bad to the town by asking for help because it was an election year or something. But his fatal flaw? His fatal flaw that gets him and others killed was trusting the government. Oh, if that's not hilarious commentary, I don't know what is. Okay, let's talk about Wolf. I didn't rename him because I wanted to drive home how bad he is at his job. He is referred to as Wolf because it is a reference to this character from Pulp Fiction.
And wait for the wolf, who should be coming directly.
You sending the wolf?
I'm Winston Wolf. I solve problems.
In that film, Wolf didn't solve the problem alone, didn't waste time, and he succeeded in his dirty deeds. This Wolf wastes lots of time, works alone, and fails hard. I have seen multiple YouTube videos claiming he's this predator badass, and I could not believe my ears. He is basically City Hunter 2.0 without the intelligence. Yeah, he looks kind of cool, but if you remove him, nothing will change. Why did Wolf even show up? Was it for cleaning up and containment, or was it for the challenge? For someone who is supposed to be a cleaner, he leaves gear all over the place. Mark even stole his gun, and he sanitizes the alien corpses but just leaves behind all the humans he kills. Even put one on display to be found. Wolf has been called the only saving grace of this burning shitbag of a movie, but the reality is he's just as bad as everything else. The human characters are so insufferable that the best part of the movie is an alien character that doesn't even speak. Wow, doesn't that sound familiar too? By the way, the eye octopus thingy isn't original. They decided to rip off Reanimator of all things. Sure, his kill count is high, but by the end of the movie, none of it matters anyway. In movies where the characters are facing inevitable death, it can hit hard if the audience has something to hold on to, and no one gives a shit about cardboard. Well, maybe cats, but who brings a cat to the movies? At least some cardboard characters turn human a few times before their horrible deaths. As far as the dialogue, I want to make something clear. I am not saying you can't have crass or immature humor in these movies. Hell, it's actually part of the formula.
You pound down the stuff like this.
Listen, I'd rather be eating something else, but right now I'm thinking food.
You just know you know what it's made of.
The doctor says, I need a semen, stool, and urine sample. I say, gee, doc, I'm in a big hurry. Can I just leave my underwear?
Please do not touch anything.
Your ass is awesome.
How do you say scared shitless in Italian?
Non vedo l'ora di uscire con te da questa piramide perché mi sto cagando addosso. More or less.
These are immature, of course, but they land because these characters are supposed to be professionals. Immature jokes from young, immature people are just annoying. AVP2 is dumb, but it's bare bones dumb. It at least knows what it is. It's not desperately trying to be smarter than it thinks it is. Alien Earth is pretentious, inflated, unpredictably stupid, and has characters who are just as bad as Requiem. Just as inexperienced, just as immature, and just as dumb. Paul W.S. Anderson directed the previous film, and he has an interesting reputation with his movies. Among the piles of garbage he brought to cinema, he also brought us the 1995 Mortal Kombat movie. Not the best movies, but they can be fun, guilty pleasures. But it seems when someone else directs a sequel to one of his better movies, we get pure garbage, like Mortal Kombat Annihilation and this god-awful shitty mess of a movie. His best film, by far, is Event Horizon.
We're leaving.
So, to any aspiring directors out there that could be watching this, if you're offered a chance to direct the sequel to Event Horizon for all that is good and holy, please turn it down. The fallout from this movie led to massive course corrections for Alien and Predator. 3 years later, Predators was released with much better success. Ridley Scott hated this movie and concept so much that he made Prometheus just to retcon it. And that movie turned out only marginally better. You know what that means? Prometheus is this movie's fault. Hell, Ridley Scott was also involved in Alien Earth, which means Alien Earth is this movie's fault. This movie's worst sin is being forgettable.
Death of that girl in like the third act. I was like, oh wow, okay, yeah.
I have a clip of that too.
Yeah, I think that the way you said that sums it all up, MauLer. The death of that girl, because I don't remember any of the characters' names, and I just watched the movie last night. So,
well, it's worse for me because I watched it an hour ago.
Which means these mistakes can happen again. AVP as a movie franchise has since died, ignored by the canon, mostly. There have been recent announcements, however, that claim the next AVP film will not announce itself. Let's be honest, we're all expecting it to happen in Badlands. With that being said, every time we get a new Predator film, the discourse has always been, will we see a xenomorph in this one? And lots of people looking for a Predator in the new Alien Earth. Though, I doubt they would be on Earth at all in this future, since Alien Earth is allergic to masculinity. And that's without even bringing up the tug-of-war concerning the canon. Apparently, everyone wants to see this happen again. But I made this review to not only revive your repressed memories, but to remind you to be careful what you wish for. It seems we get shit media every time someone tries to put a xenomorph on Earth. More idiot plots, more out-of-place incompetent characters, more nonsensical progression, more shit dialogue, more superficial references. Less cause and effect, nothing to hold on to, and no reason to care. And even a few new terrible mistakes to baffle audiences with brains. Who the hell brings a water bottle into a lab? You can't even do that in high school chemistry. Who gets himself locked into a room with dangerous specimens? Is it because you broke the other door? Insane levels of plot armor with this character. Why does a robot hybrid need help moving a body when they're supposed to be stronger than normal humans? If you needed help moving him, how did you get to your room from a giant vent in the lab? No way you die-hearted your way in there. And the entire premise of putting the minds of Make-A-Wish kids into state-of-the-art bodies sounds charitable until you realize there's no contingency plan for when they go Blade Runner. This show is SCP Foundation without the S, C, or P, and the writing quality to be rejected by even a creepypasta. There are loads more examples, but you'll find DarkHour's videos on Alien Earth more detailed. This movie is almost 20 years old. There has been plenty of time to learn from these mistakes, but apparently no one learned a damn thing. And if you use the same standards of measurement that were used on AVP2, Alien Earth would have a score that's similar or even lower. So, explain this shit to me. Killer of Killers was just bad, but not completely terrible. AVP2 is completely terrible. A complete failure in every way a science fiction horror movie can be made. And Alien Earth is just as bad, if not worse. The alien has no business on Earth. Keep it in space. The Predator can work in a city, but it works far better in the jungle. Stop trying to make this happen. Alien and Predator are franchises best kept separate. They're at their best when they aren't being thrown together in contrived ways. Sometimes. AVP is a toxic marriage. Stop trying to stay together for the kids and get divorced already. And stop trying to reconcile. I need to review something actually good. Look what this stress does to my skin. Thanks for watching to the end. I would like to thank DarkHour for the use of footage from the Uninspired Hour podcast, and Shamrock's Dragon for helping me improve my audio. Check out her music, it is very good. I admit it's not perfect yet, but it's far better than it was. And this video could not wait. Links are in the description. Thank you for watching, and I will see you for the next stop.
I assert my Fifth Amendment privilege.
Good. Shut up, Mark. Bad dog.